And this is Kast with a K, going to be bringing you a first impression look at the Reaver, the new Bloodline here on Bloodline Champions for patch 1.1, and it is March 16th, and it is a happy day for this game. Tournament system came out, observer mode's been buffed, chat's been buffed, everything's been buffed, Nomad's been nerfed, Thorn's been nerfed, which is good, and I'm overall excited at this patch. Well, this is the first look at the Reaver. What am I talking about? Here's the guy, close-up mode. I'm going to scroll back out so you see what he is like in the actual battlefield with his nice little cape right there. Right now we're going to go over the core abilities of his, starting with none other than his M1, his left click. As you can see, it does pretty high damage, 15, 17, and 19. Has a cast time of 0.45 seconds, cooldown of 0.4 seconds, has a pretty good energy gain, and has a nice animation. So if I swing this, it looks like it does a big cleave attack, but no, that is not the case. It only is in the standard melee cone in front of you, which I believe is a 90-degree path right in front, making that little V right there. So with that said, notice the cooldown is 0.4 and the cast time is 0.45. So if he does get any kind of attack speed amplifiers, say from Astronomer Aurora, then he can actually do more M1s per cycle because the cooldown is less than the cast time, which is very key. His second ability is called the Grappling Hook. Fortunately, I have a friend here who's on the opposing team named Zant from Team Ooga Booga Booga, one of the best astronomers out there in the game, aside from Foda and a few others. But right now I'm going to show you the range of the Grappling Hook. It's a very unique ability. It does actually throw a hook out in the direction that you desire it to go, and it applies a pretty nifty debuff to the target. So let's take a look at that. It does 8 to 16 damage depending on how far you hit your hook. So at max range it does 16, deals 8 up close, making sure it's not too overpowered of an ability. And it applies Disturbance. And what that does is it locks all cooldowns for 1.5 more seconds. So say I use a spacebar, or my friend Zant uses a spacebar. What if I hit him with the Grappling Hook? What will happen is he will actually have his spacebar on cooldown for 1.5 more seconds. And that's really big because any kind of, out ability or escape mechanism that's on cooldown for the longer time, you have more time to punish your enemy and do damage to them. Now what you saw right there was also a nifty mechanic. So instead of actually me going straight to him or him coming straight to me, like a thorn pull and Spearmaster, I go straight to him if I were to harpoon, we actually meet in the middle. So notice we're on different sides of this middle line, right? He's in the grass area, he's checking out the daisies, and then we pull each other, close, and I get a couple M1 swings off. Now, that's actually, quite key because it allows you to, say somebody is putting a moonstone down under your feet, it allows you to actually get out from underneath it and pull your enemy to you at the same time. So you can dodge abilities while also getting into position and getting close to your enemy target. So it's a very important ability to do it like that. And I did not do it in time, so I'm a complete nub. But that's okay. We see how the Grappling Hook does work, and if I timed it just right, I could avoid that moonstone. But I'm going to preview the next ability right here. So we're going to go on to our spacebar. Dragoon Strike jumps toward the target location a set distance and strikes for 14 damage and does a 0.5 second stun and an AoE in front of me. Now I'm going to demonstrate this while going backwards so that you can see how it's a set range. This is a skill shot of a spacebar. Even when my cursor is very close to me, notice I jumped from here to about where my cursor is, right here. Even if I put my spacebar all the way out there, I still jump the same distance. So it is a skill shot, and if you do notice the AoE on it in front of him, that's a pretty big AoE. It's a little cone like this where the stun radius happens, and that stun radius is a 0.5 second stun. Now, what's important, and here's a semi-pro tip, a little combo if you will, Notice stun is for 0.5 seconds, and our M1 is 0.45 seconds. Astronomer has an instant trance, so theoretically I should be able to jump. The stun should last long enough where I can get one M1 off before he trances. So let's see if I can actually do that. Here you go, I'm going to jump. Here you go, get the M1 off, and boom, he cannot trance in time. So even with European latency, I can still get it off, and you can get, instead of just only 14 damage, you can get another 15 off, increasing the combo to 29. The trick to doing this is by actually holding M1 while you are in the air, because in Bloodline Champions, again, if you didn't know, if you hold abilities in Bloodline Champions, it will use them as soon as they come off of cooldown. So I don't have to spam my spacebar. You know, I can just hold it down. Notice I'm not spamming it. You can hear it when I spam it, but I'm just holding it down, and it will use it automatically when it comes back up. So that's a very important tip for all you new players. But enough of that spacebar. It's pretty cool. It does the stun. You can M1 afterwards. Again, I did not hold the M1 while I was in the air. It was a little bit slow getting out, and that's the importance of holding your M1 button while mid-charge of another ability. So here we go. We're going to go on to our next one after we saw that brilliant combo, the two-hit combo. In all fighting games, that would be terrible. But we're going to move on to Drunken Haze. Deals 12 damage on a direct hit, 6 damage in an AoE, and applies a debuff to them. So we're just going to check out what this ability does before I explain the debuff. Now, right now, as you can see, I completely whiffed on Zant, but the AoE was large enough that it actually hit him. And notice the range on this. This is a very large range. So all the way across the map, you know, I'm not max distance so you can actually still see the Reaver, but, you know, the AoE is such that it still hits him, and it applies that debuff for 3.5 seconds. But, again, if we see, you know, direct hit, does 12 damage, so no biggie. But what the big deal about this ability is the actual debuff it applies. If you notice, it reduces movement speed by 33%, reduces attack speed by 33%, and lasts up to 3.5 seconds. Now, that's only assuming you do not do damage, because it says damage breaks that effect. So we're going to get Zant to actually do a little bit of healing in a target location right there. So notice all those heals. Notice the speed those heals are coming out. I'm going to hit him with this thing, and he's just going to keep healing. So notice how much slower those heals are coming out because I applied that debuff on him. Okay? And that is very important, so whenever you're trying to control someone or trying to limit the heals going to a character, you want to use this almost in a way like Alchemist Sleep on somebody who will not get hit, because you want to do the maximum debuff duration possible. And that is why, you know, you don't want to try and, you know, do this where, you know, you throw the potion in M1, except I completely whiffed because Zant is, you know, sneaky snake over here. You know, to demonstrate, you know, look at this. I throw it on him and then M1. Now he's free to move around however he wants, and the debuff really did nothing. It only just did 12 burst damage, which really isn't that huge. You might as well have just M1'd anyways. You do 15, 17, and 19. So you have to make sure you use this potion in a way that it does not get dispelled early and it's used to its maximum effectiveness. But, you know, enough throwing the beer around. We're going to be doing the roundhouse kick, unleashing a little bit of Chuck Norris pretty soon, as you can see by the explosive kick EX followed. But to explain roundhouse kick, we're going to be doing a minor demonstration right now. If you want to take a look at the animation here in this grassy field, you'll notice he does two little kicks forward, you know, hi-ya, Karate Ninja style, even though he's a drunken brawler. Doesn't make sense, but that's okay. 2GD probably came up with the idea. But does 6 damage upon impact and it inflicts an incapacitate for 1.4 seconds. Now, it only inflicts the incapacitate if you hit the target once. If you hit the target twice, the incapacitate effect wears off. So, to show you that, I'm going to do one hit onto Zant and show you the incapacitate. You know, see, the incap is still there. Zant comes down to follow me here. We'll probably get a better camera angle. So, Zant, come on down, buddy. I'll grapple you just so you get here faster. Okay, so I'm I'm going to hit him once and come back. Notice the end cap is still on him. Alright? So it was still there by the time I was, finishing up the second kick, and I could have comboed a little bit afterwards. Now if I hit him twice with it, boom, boom, end cap is immediately off, and he can run around and heal up however he wants. So if you're trying to, combo on a target, it's best to, just go like that, and then you can get the grapple off. So you don't want to hit the target twice so you can get other abilities off, because if you hit him twice, try and do the grapple, then he could trance, sort of like Xant's going to do right now in this demonstration. So I'm going to hit him twice, boom, boom, and then try and do the grapple, and, cast time is too large. Xant has an instant trance, and right now, one of my main abilities, the grapple hook for getting me in on the fight, is not able to be used, and it was not used wisely. So you got to be sort of Twitch McGee over here with your abilities, and use them to the best of your skill. And right there, it is very hard to combo with the kicks being the way they are, because instant trances do counter that. But it is a very good indicator. I'm not sure if a Kunju can get off in time. Again, this is a first impression. Haven't done extensive testing on it. But max distance can't be tranced either. But, right there, aha! So I can get him before he instant trances, assuming I get close enough. If I go too far away, then it does not work. So maybe, if I just feint, right like that, then it's quick enough, and you can actually get it off. So that's why you actually want to, spam move your cursor and keep that end cap on as long as possible. Right here, it's too long, and Xant could have gotten the trance off if he wanted. So make sure that you use the end cap wisely. And you can do this even better if you, end cap one target and there's another guy off to the side. You can end cap two people at the same time, which is great. More control for the Reaver. And speaking of which, if you've noticed, every ability of his has some kind of control in it. You have the lockdowns on abilities. You have the stun. You have the reduced movement speed and attack speed. Attack speed also affects heals, as we just saw. So any ability that you cast that has a cast time to it, that is going to be affected, and that's considered attack speed. So it affects the cast time, even though it's called attack speed. I don't know. Ask the developers to change it. And, we just saw a roundhouse kick right there. You can do incapacitates on two different targets and combo abilities off afterwards. But, what if I'm feeling a little bit more explosive? I'm Reaver. I have this badass sword. I'm ready to, slash and dice and dash. I don't even know. Slash and dash. I don't know what happens there. But we're going to look at this explosive kick maneuver he does. It is 3 kicks towards a target location, and if he hits a kick, it does an AoE for 12 damage and knocks back the target. So right now, I'm just going to use this onto Xant, show you a little bit of combo ability here. As EX1, boom, boom, boom. See, third attack missed. It does not do the 12 AoE. So if I line up in a different way, I might be able to actually hit this, 1, 2, 3, right there. Notice the AoE is quite large. If I had more targets around, you could see it does significant AoE, sort of in a burst. And just like Nomad Boomerangs, if you get them close to a wall, you can hit them even harder and faster because they don't get knocked back quite as much. So, that's very good to keep in mind when playing the Reaver and trying to get as much damage as possible. 36 damage plus a knockback. Not too shabby. Plus, I'm going to show you how much it actually knocks back. So Xant's going to heal a little bit while I get enough energy. And hopefully he doesn't die from this, as I'm going to do this little knockback. And right now he's standing at the line. He's ready for the races. I'm just like, yo, get back, buddy. I don't like you. I don't like you near your team. So look how far I knocked him back. He was here, and now he's way back there. If I'm a healer trying to heal Xant from here, he's going to be way out of range for heals. It's going to get me a little out of position. So Explosive Kick not only does damage, it interrupts because of the knockback, and it also knocks back a significant distance, which can actually put people out of position. Although it is a little bit harder to hit, it can be very potent when teams are caught up in a corner or in a tight area such as this, because the AoE will branch out to approximately all of this area and do 12 damage to any of Xant's allies. So that's enough of that, super kick right there. It's always fun to, just kick your opponents in the face. But what you want to look at is this next ability. This is a very unique one. It's called Parry. Disables abilities and absorbs all enemy melee or projectile attacks. All of them. That means this is a trance that absorbs every attack that happens during that time. Not just one like Wuju or Kunju, but this one actually absorbs all attacks. So if you have 3 projectiles coming in at once, it will trigger all of them, trigger an ability, and shoot back something at all of them. Now, what does he shoot back, you say? Well, he shoots back a shattered dust projectile. Where he got the dust projectile from, I don't know. Maybe he had an empty flask of whiskey and then filled it up with some dirt, thinking it might be some good food. Who knows? He throws back a dust projectile, and it does 10 damage, and it incapacitates the target for 0.7 seconds. So, if we want to see Zant do a little bit of a moonburst right here, we'll see that, I can actually, parry it, boom. Has a neat little animation, puts the sword out in front, shoots the dust particle, and Zant got incapped and took 10 damage. Now, another interesting thing is that if Zant does a moonburst, watch what else and unique property this thing has as well. This parry. I can actually walk while doing the parry. Okay? Notice if you read abilities, this is very important, it says at the bottom, might be covered up by my overlay, it says, can move while casting. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is a movable counterattack that can counterattack every ability that hits him. So, unfortunately, again, I don't have more helpers with this, but I can move and parry attacks. That means I can body block for allies, and make sure that they don't get hit. And it's a very important defensive ability, and it has much utility to be used if used at the correct time. Unfortunately, it does have a pretty decent cooldown, 8 seconds. Not too bad for what it does. And, make sure to use that at the right time because it will be a huge arsenal in the Reaver's gameplay, just like any counterattack is for any character. But his second EX is also applied to the counterattack. So right now, Vigilance. We see it's called Vigilance. 100% of damage dealt during Vigilance heals the Reaver, but all damage done is reduced by 50%. Now, this might seem a little confusing at first, and I'm going to get Zant to actually do a little bit of damage to me to show what this actually means. So, he's using his fancy spacebar right there, trying to do a little bit more damage. But 100% of the damage dealt. Now, look at my M1. It does 15 damage. Okay, 100% of the damage dealt heals me, okay? But my damage is reduced by 50%. What that means, and I don't think it's quite worded correctly, but I will heal myself for 15, but only do 7 damage to Zant because half of 15 is, 7.5. It rounds down, it goes to 7. So to see this in action, I'm actually going to, use the Vigilance ability. Here you go. It's EX2. Just going to trigger it by pressing 2. And any ability I do, I can actually get health back. And notice I have full temporary HP. I have no healers on my team. So, right there, you saw those numbers flash up. I did get more health as I was doing that. Vigilance does last for 4 seconds, so you can go around, trying to M1 people all day, and they will have to run from you because you are a madman in fury, getting health back while doing damage, sort of like Harbinger, except you're getting significant amounts of health back. Additionally, it reduces the damage taken by 33%, so you become pretty tanky. You're not going to die. Like, if you need to absorb a Shadow Bolt, then by all means, use this. If you're trying to, M1 as well, who knows? You can actually reduce damage taken. And it increases your movement speed by 20% for 4 seconds. It gives you a lot of chaseability. If you have any kind of slow on you, maybe this can negate it out. Because, Ranted Dart, it can, 2 stacks of dart on you. You can just be at regular move speed, chase people around the map, and it gives you tons of health. But to demonstrate that, it's not only your M1 that gets health back. Zant's going to do a little bit more damage to me there. There you go. That's pretty good. I'm going to pop Vigilance again, going back into dynamic camera mode. And, I'm going to just throw out the grapple hook. Going to be doing, a couple abilities right there. And, notice it still did give me some health back. Granted, roundhouse kick doesn't do the most damage. Neither does grappling chain at that distance. But, max range, if you do, trigger it, look at that, 614 right there. Got some more health. But mostly you want to try and use this in M1 range because your M1s just do so much damage. And, the movement speed buff helps you chase as well as the damage reduction if they're trying to M1 spam you. Like if Zant right now tries to do an M1 war with me, I think I'm probably going to win. So, right here, I'm doing some pretty significant damage. And, at least keeping up. At least keeping up with him. Then I can, combo, do that. Throw a little potion, maybe jump M1, something along those lines, Maybe counterattack a little bit. So Vigilance, as you can see, will keep you in the fight. It will prevent you from absolutely getting demolished. And, if you hit multiple targets at once, it can be very potent. If you use your EX explosive kick at the same time. That's a pretty nifty combo, using 2 EXs to gain massive health and to do massive damage. That's not a bad idea. So, what we're going to be looking at right now, though, as I heal up, is his ultimate. Now, this guy is the definition of a drunkard, holding around a big sword and acting like a badass. His ultimate is called Drunken Brawler, of all things. The Reaver enters a state of intoxicated madness, increasing his movement speed by 33%. Additionally, he does 4 attacks over 2 seconds, so that's an attack every 0.5 seconds, and each attack deals 20 damage. So you do 80 damage with Reaver's ultimate, and it's a cleaving attack, and you can move while doing it. So if you want to take a quick look at this, notice like huge AoE arc, boom, all over the place. You can see the little arc in front of me. It's like a 180, maybe a 130 degree arc, who knows. It's somewhere very massive in front of you. If I had multiple opponents in front of me, they would just be getting annihilated, and I can follow up with a couple M1s afterwards, things like that in case they just did not die. But, I'm going to get some more energy right now just to show off that ult again. Here you go, the spacebar to M1 combo, do the roundhouse kick thing, and try and jump. Oh, see, he jumped away. If I hit that grappling hook, then he'd still be in trouble. But, regardless, we are going to see this ultimate one more time as I'm going to push Zant up towards the top end right here, knock him back a little bit with the roundhouse kick. Here we go, one more time with the Drunken Brawler ultimate. Again, and I can move around with this. Huge AoE. I missed that third strike because, I was facing the opposite direction. So that way, it's not a 360 arc, but really just a 180 arc in front. You can just swing it around madly if you're a noob, and hopefully you'll hit something with that huge arc radius with the cleave. And again, guys, M1 is not a cleave attack. It is only a single target hit ability, although it does have a massive swing radius. It only hits one target at a time. This has been tested and confirmed. So, here we go again. M1, just as a recap, we got the grappling hook right here, which does the disturbance. It locks cooldowns. We have the space, which does a stun. And then, you can follow up with an M1 if you're facing the right direction. If you're holding it in the air, you can't even instant stun it. I'm going to do that on Zant right now. See, boom, couldn't even stun it or trance it in time, even with an instant trance. Then you've got the, Drunken Potion, Drunken Haze right here. You want to make sure that you use that on targets that aren't going to take damage because it reduces casting speed by 33% and reduces movement speed by 33%. Then we have, of course, the roundhouse kick that if you want to just try and, get an incapacitate off, only hit your target once. If you're looking maybe for just 12 burst damage for some odd reason, you can use it there, or it also does it interrupts because it does a slight knockback on the second one, although they're incapacitated on the first one. So I have no idea why you would ever hit 2 targets at once with this, but, it is there for that reason. As you just saw, you can do the roundhouse kick once onto them, feint the second one, and then do a grappling hook even before he can trance. So, Reaver is very twitchy with his mouse. Gotta aim at them, gotta aim away really quick, gotta aim back at them, get the grappling hook, and, whenever they space away, you gotta follow them up with some stuff. So, you know, he is a very, very unique Bloodline in that aspect. You also have the explosive kick. So here we go, massive AoE, only if you hit the kick. So you got to make sure that you don't miss, and you make sure you re-aim, because whenever you do explosive kick, it knocks them in a certain direction. And if you hit them up against a wall, then it's even more potent, because you don't have to travel quite as far to do the kicks. You know, I'm going to gain a little bit of meter right here and show that to you. Zant hopefully won't die during this process, but like, look how fast the kicks are right there. He has like no room to move, and I just did 36 combo damage. Could follow up with some other stuff. So that's his EX1. We also have his parry. So, you know, as you can see, Zant's going to try and moonburst me, and you know, you can move around while doing it, and it inflicts an in cap. It absorbs all hits during that 1.2 second time. So, you know, if multiple hits are coming in onto you, then, you know, you can reflect them back. Or that's even better, too, because I think you can actually, if you get a Chronoflux up, you know, say you parry a Fear, but he throws up a Chronoflux, then you can actually parry your own parry, and that would be actually something very interesting to test. But right now, this is just a short intro. And again, if I get 40 energy right here, I'll show you the power of using the Vigilance. Zant just has to attack me again. You gain 100% of the damage that you would deal in health, and you know, all damage you do is reduced by 50%. This can keep you in on the fight. So here we go. Notice, you know, 15, 17, 19. You know, right here, I was at full temporary HP, so that's why I didn't heal anymore. But it gives you a chance to, you know, keep yourself on your toes. Gives you a movement speed buff. It reduces damage you take by 33%. And it lasts for 4 seconds, so it's a very good EX. And again, just to finish things out in style, I'm going to show you the Drunken Brawler, 99% energy, 20% or 100% right there, 20, 20, 20, 20 for a combined 80 damage, and that is the Drunken Brawler Ultimate for Reaver. Guys, this has been Kast with a K. Going to be bringing you this, you know, first time sneak peek at Reaver right there. You know, here it is, March 16th, live patch 1.1. Zant being a very good participant right here, helping me out from Team Ooga Booga Booga, one of the best astronomers out there. And I would just like to say, hopefully you guys enjoyed that and get to see what Reaver is all about. And I'll talk to you guys later. Kast with a K, signing out.